All right, we have got it. Thank you. I guess I could have gotten that one.
No, I should do it. You don't have to. Yeah, I was like, what? I mean,
No problem. If there's anything else, we'll ask.
I give it. That's good.
Got a lively bunch this morning, Kevin. We're lively.
Hey, the energy's good. We've been,
Hump day.
people have appointments and
Yeah.
making calls, so it's gonna be upbeat.
Very productive morning.
All right, so we ready to get started?
Yes.
All right. So today's class is all about sending out postcards through command. And they make it very easy and quick. And it's actually really affordable when you compare it to printing it out at a print shop and then bringing it to the post office yourself. So I have a couple samples. Hopefully you guys can see them all right. So this is a small one that I sent. It's a 4x6.
That's really cute.
So that's the cheapest one they have. I think it's 59 cents a piece, which when you think about it, I think stamps are up to like 55 cents now. So pretty good deal.
Yeah.
There's the back side of it.
I love it.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
You might have to mute me. No.
You can't. That's the problem.
I really love that.
So that was the first one. This is another one of the same size. We had sold 3 in one neighborhood. It was a really small neighborhood of like maybe 20 houses. So for like 12 or 14 bucks, we sent this one out and actually had a QR code on the back that you can scan to bring them to our Google page.
You have a Google page?
Oh yeah. You don't?
Yeah. You can make a Google page.
Yeah, how do you, because I heard someone else say
Yeah.
they have that.
You have to,
How do you do that?
you have to get the app. And then you have to.
I have Google.
Kevin can explain it. I'm just like, you take it
Yeah.
over.
Sorry.
Can you give us another class?
I was gonna say, we'll say
Yeah.
Google Class next.
Google Class.
Yeah. It's been a long time since I did it, but yeah, if you look up like how do I get my page on Google, like my business page, there's pretty basic, but they have to like send you something to verify that you own the business, and then yeah.
I think I did that. I just don't know what to do next, but okay.
Yeah.
We'll
There's a
figure
lot
it
of
out.
good stuff, and it's definitely good. It drives a lot of traffic to your business, and if you keep up with it, you'll start getting like phone calls from people that just find you on Google.
So I need my own domain, huh? Is that?
Not necessarily. I mean, you really just need to set it up, and then you can link your like Keller Williams website to it.
Okay, sorry, continue.
Very good. So this is a bigger one, so I'll compare the two. I think this is a 6x9. So it's a good bit.
The first one's a good size though.
Yeah. So this one, it's very small. This one's kind of more in your face, but I think it's like maybe 20 cents extra. This is just sold that we sent out to like everyone in Waterford Green and a few other neighborhoods. And then this one, I didn't really customize much. I just kind of tested it out. This is one of like the promote your app ones.
Okay.
And then on the back, I had a QR code that brings them to our app landing page, I guess.
Where do you, because I wanted to do a QR code for my app actually on my business card.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I can show you how to do that. We'll do I'll add a QR code to the postcard we make. That way you can see how to do it, and then you can put it on your app or flyers or wherever you want.
okay.
Super easy to do. But yeah, those are a couple of the postcards I've sent out. We used to always bring it to a print shop, and I think the paper quality was a bit nicer when we actually got to choose at the print shop, but time spent, you have to design it from scratch, send it to the print shop, pick it up, bring it to like the bulk mailing office and a big box full of postcards, and it's much more time consuming compared to what we're about to do, where we can get one out in like 20 to 30 minutes. So go ahead and share my screen. This. All right. So let's see here. The first step is going into designs, which hopefully you all know how to get to designs by this point. Because it's where you can design all kinds of cool print materials and social media posts and all that stuff. And then on this page, we're going to go down to the plus sign at the bottom corner, and we are going to create a new print. So we're just going to hit print and go to next. So this is where all of like the flyers, brochures, door hangers, postcards, there's a lot of different templates in here for different stuff you can print. And then you'll see at the top of, so on the left side are all the different categories. And then at the top of each category shows all the different templates they have. So like the, I think I sent a large postcard, which is a 9x6 of that one I showed you. Let's see which one it was. Insights. Yeah. So it's like this one right here is that postcard. Usually when I send postcards, it's like to promote a listing. If you get a listing, it's always good to send as much as you can and basically market as much as you can, because as you know, every listing should get you, what is it? One listing, one buyer, or two listings, one buyer, something like that. If you properly market it, you should be getting business from each listing. So when you go to listings, you have all these different categories. So like I said, it's really cheap. So if you have a small neighborhood of like, 40 or 50 homes, you can basically send a postcard out to them for, 50-ish bucks. So you could do, as soon as one is either coming soon or just listed, send them a postcard. As soon as it goes under contract, send them another postcard. As soon as it sells, send them another postcard. That way they're getting like 3 postcards in a row over the span of like a month and a half. That's brand recognition because they keep seeing your name, and you get to tell them, home values are going up. This is how much we sold this one for. This is how we did it. You could even do an open house one if you have enough time on the market to plan an open house, because you have to account for, maybe 5 to 7 days for this postcard to get sent to them. I found that's kind of like around the ballpark of how long it takes, depending when you submit it. Maybe if it's over a weekend, it might take a little longer. But it's pretty quick because they do it, priority shipping. And as soon as you submit the design through the campaign, they start printing within like the hour. So it's really crucial to make sure everything looks good, because if you send it or if you submit it and pay for it, it gets into production really quick. So for this one, let's just do let's say we want to promote a just listed, like a new listing. And then at the top here, you'll see we have a lot of different categories. Wow. Looks like they've added some. So let's see, postcard A6. Not sure what size that is. They also have portrait postcards, like vertical. I've never done one, but kind of cool. So your standard postcard is going to be that small 6x4 one. And I don't know if they have it on here, but the other sizes are the large postcards. That's the other bigger one I showed you. And then they have the jumbo postcard, which is like the full length of a sheet of paper. It's like 6x11. You've probably gotten them in the mail from like Zillow. They're the really floppy ones that are almost too big. Personally, I've never sent one of those, but I think the standard and the large ones both look really good. So if we click on standard, it looks like there's only a couple options here. So it all depends on, what picture you plan to use and what kind of design you're looking for. I think this one kind of looks nice. So let's go with that one. And then while this loads, I'll go ahead and show you how to do a QR code. So I don't know what website I generally use, because I just kind of Google QR code generator. And there's like a million websites to choose from. I think I've used this QR code monkey, qrcodegenerator.com. They all pretty much do the same thing. Basically, you just click on one, and then you're going to paste your URL in here. So I'll show you going back into command. If you go down to this bottom consumer tab, and then you go to the top right where it says site and app settings. You're going to see this tab here for URLs. So this is where you can get your website URL and your app URL. So if we want to make a QR code that brings them to our app, our branded app, we're just going to copy this and then go back to our QR code website and just paste it in here. And then they have some different options. I usually just keep it, plain black and white, simple. You just click on create QR code, and you're going to see it's going to make our own code. And then before I actually add it to anything, I want to take my phone and test it out. You'll see it brings me right to the App Store. And if they download it and create an account, that's when it's going to brand to our actual app. Another option is just sending them to your website, where when they go to the website, especially on their phone, it's going to show up with like a link on the bottom to download the app. So I prefer to send them to my website personally. And then we're just going to download the PNG.
Do you just send them to the first page of the website, Kevin, or?
Yeah. Unless it's like say if I'm promoting a listing, I could add in like the specific URL for that listing on my website and be like, scan for more details. But it depends on, what the purpose of it is.
Okay.
So for this one, we're doing a actual just listed. It would be a good idea to actually send them, to that specific listing, because they can always get back to the homepage easily. But so we have that at the bottom. Say it again.
Sorry, like if you had a landing page for that specific listing, is that how you do it, or?
Personally, I like to send them to my actual website. Because with the landing page, you can put your info on it, but it's not actually a part of your website. So what I like to do is actually go to my website and look up the address.
Oh, okay.
Let's see. And then we would just copy this URL right here. That way it's actually on our branded website. They can create an account and all that stuff. Because if it's a landing page, they can't actually create an account. You can put like a form at the bottom for more questions, but I like driving traffic to my actual website because that's how you raise your SEO. So if I want to do that, I would just copy that code right in here, or that website, create a new code and download it. And then back on the design page, if you go to the left side and go to images, and then you can go to add right next to there. And then you can just drag it in here, or you can click on it and upload it. Since I have it right there, I can just drag it right in. There's our fancy code there. So for when you're doing this within Command, one of the cool parts of designs is it's linked to KWLS. So if you go to the left side and click on KWLS at the bottom, you can actually search for your listings right in here, rather than having to upload your pictures manually. And then you would just select it on the right side. And it's going to pull up all the pictures and details.
And that was because you had already listed this.
Correct. Yeah. So if it's like a coming soon listing, it wouldn't be in there. So you could actually go in and manually add the picture. Or if you cropped a picture, did some like fancy stuff to it, you could always manually do it. But it makes it really easy when it's in here. And what you would do is you would just click on the picture. Is it really loud in there? You all right?
You mean that noise?
I can move if needed. My neighbors decides to blow every leaf that falls off a tree off his lawn. So
It's pretty faint, you're good.
okay, just let me know. I'll move in. So yeah, you click on the picture you want to change, and then you just go over here to the right side. And when you hover over a picture, you'll see this little replace image button, and you can just swap it right out. And then if you wanted to like crop it from here, you can click on the image and then go to the top here where it says reposition. And you could, you know, stretch it out, drag it around, to get rid of the street a little bit. And there's whole classes on design, so I won't spend too much time in here. And then you can go in, click on where the words are and just change it to, you know, the property address. Change this down here. And then you can go in and, you know, add all kinds of different graphics and stuff if you want. But I find that, you know, keeping it simple is a good way to remain professional. I don't think people want to see too much extra stuff on there. They just want straight to the point. What's the price? What's the, you know, address? Show me the house, and that's it. So that's the front of the postcard. And then at the bottom right corner here where it says pages, this is how you're going to swap between your front and your back postcard. So we're just going to click here on the second one. And then we'll go back to the left side here and go to images. And I think my assets, I already have our headshot uploaded. If you haven't, same thing, you just go here to add and you can add in your headshot. And then we're just going to swap that out.
What do you put? It says your name at the top right, but then on the bottom left it says DBA name. Should you put the same name twice?
So your name would be like Arshia, and then your DBA name, you would swap this out for, you know, Keller Williams. Okay. Yeah, white one. I don't know why these are so blurry. It looks horrible.
So your DBA is your.
Yeah, he just said.
Doing business as.
Yeah, Keller Williams.
Try this again. All right, not going to spend too much time on this, but yeah. So you design it the way you want. You could add in like extra text boxes if you want to do like a little property description or something like that. We said we were going to add in our QR code, so we're going to throw that in here. One thing to keep in mind, and you'll find this out once we go through the campaign setup, it's going to show a preview of the card, but there's going to be a spot on the card where the address needs to go. So you can't just fill out this entire backside, otherwise things are going to get cut off. So you kind of have to play around with it and see, like, show you one of these postcards. If you can see that. So a good chunk of this side here is taken up with the address. So you really only have like the left strip and then the top. So pretty much what's left blank, you should just leave that alone. So for like the QR code, I might want to add it in here, you know, right at the top corner or something like that. And then you could add like a little text box and say something like, you know, click here for more property details, or to search for homes, or to download the app, you know, whatever the QR code is sending them to. And then once you have it all set up and you make sure everything looks good, we just have to go download it. So to download it, you go to the top right corner where it says download. And before you do that, you might want to save it as like a different name, you know, like the property address. You go up here to download, and it's going to default to PDF for printing, which is what you want. And then this part's important. You have to include the manual bleed. So you're going to click on include bleed right here. which basically means that they're going to add an extra little space around the postcard. That way, when it goes to get cut, they're not going to cut through your actual image. So it'll kind of show you a preview here. Just make sure the main content is closer to the center. And then you're going to go down here to select pages, because you have to download them one at a time. You can't download them both, or it's going to be like a zip file. So we're just going to make page 1. And then we're going to click download. And then we're going to go back to download again and do the same thing for page 2. Make sure you get the manual bleed on there. Page 2. And download. All right, so now we have the front and the back side downloaded. We're just going to go back into command. Do all that. Go inside. Is it loud?
Towards the end, it got a little louder, but it wasn't terrible.
That's me crazy.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, so we have our postcard downloaded. Now we are going to go into campaigns and actually set up, where we want it to get sent out to. So we're going to click on campaigns. And then at the top right corner, we're going to go to create campaign. And then we're going to go to direct mail on the bottom left. So if you've seen this class or joined any of the other like social media ad classes, this is a pretty similar setup. We're just going to give the campaign a name. And then we're going to choose a goal. So for this one, we'll say that it's to advertise our listing. And then at the bottom here, you have 2 options. So we're going to be uploading our custom template that we just created. And once I finish this, I'll show you what the default templates look like. I've tried them out and I don't think they look nearly as good as the designs we have available to us. But if you want to use the default ones, they're basically just for listings. There's like 2 options, I think, unless they've added some. But it's a quick option if you just want to get something out there. But we're going to go to upload custom template and do create campaign. And then this is where we're going to actually upload those 2 files we just downloaded. So the front of the postcard, we're just going to drag this one up here. And you'll see here, there's some instructions on the bottom regarding the additional bleed. So if we don't download the design with that manual bleed on there, when you try to upload it, it's going to say that it's the wrong size. But it kind of gives you like a little preview of it. But
So
actually,
correct you when you miss that still.
say it again.
That's like a reminder that you need to go back and make that step.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
But there is the possibility that for some reason it does work and then it's going to get cut off. So just make sure you always use that bleed on there.
Okay.
All right, so we have the front and then we go back to the top here and we click on back a postcard. We do the same thing. So these, it looks like they've actually fixed this page a bit. It used to show like a really weird preview with a whole bunch of like extra stuff on there. So this actually looks much better than it used to. But at the end, once we've already set up everything, it's going to show like the final preview. And that's the one you really want to make sure looks good before you click submit. So you upload both of those and then you just go to continue at the bottom. And there's not too much to set up on here. For Market Center, you're just going to put in, our office's information, which helps with the compliance part of this. And also, if for some reason an address can't get delivered, it knows where to send them back to. Verify, it's going to pull up like the actual mailing zip code. So we have that. And then targeting. So basically there's two main options here. Local targeting is where you're going to go to this next page and it's going to pull up a map where you can, you know, either do it by radius or you can outline a neighborhood and select specific homes you want to mail them to. So it's a good way to start farming, you know, mailing out to people that aren't already in your database. The other option is to target people in your database. So if you're trying to send out like maybe an event invitation, or like, or if you want to send this postcard out to people that don't live right by each other, if you want to target all the people in your, you know, sphere of influence, you can target your database and just add contacts that way. So, you know, I could pull up like all of my active clients or something like that, and then just select them all and add them to the campaign. And you'll see there's people who you don't have an address that obviously it's not going to select. So it kind of weeds out those people that you don't have addresses for. But the cooler option, in my opinion, is the local targeting. So what we're going to do for this one is we're just going to type in the address of the home that we're marketing.
So this is going to pull up addresses around that home, or what is that?
Yeah. So on this next page, I'll show you how it works. But yeah, basically it just pulls up a map of all of the different houses around you.
Okay.
So this next part is the budget, and you can change this on the next page. But, you know, if you know your neighborhood is like 50 homes, you know, you can cycle it down. It'll give you an estimate of, you know, how much it's going to cost.
Okay.
So for this postcard, for the smallest one, the only option is the first class shipping, which is good because it means it's going to go quick. But you'll see here on the right side, if we were to use the bigger postcards, you have two options. You can either do the standard, which is cheaper, and it just takes a few extra days, or you can do the first class for an extra fee. So you can kind of choose between those if you're using the bigger cards, but the small cards, it's just all first class. Probably because they can't afford to do any cheaper than 59 cents.
Right.
So you choose your quantity. Again, don't worry too much about being precise because it changes on the next page based on the criteria you use. So then you go to the top right corner and do configure targeting. And this is the fun part. So you'll see here, basically it, and there's kind of have to zoom in and zoom down a little to get to the, or maybe I can see if I can change the size of this. I have it too small. There we go. That'll help a little bit. All right, so you'll see at the bottom right corner, you have the zoom in, zoom out option. So you can get in a little closer, or we might be zoomed in all the way right now. Let's make one size bigger. All right, so left or right side, you have the map. Left side, you have the targeting criteria. So this kind of, they partnered with, I guess, like the tax record or wherever they get their information from. So it's pretty cool. Like, let's say, you know, I'm trying to target all this neighborhood and like there's some homes missing. So I can change this to like maybe 100 homes. That way it increases the range a little bit. And then let's say I don't want to target anyone in this street up here because that's a different neighborhood. You can hover over the different houses and remove them. And that dot's going to turn gray. On the left side here, mostly in our area, it's all single family homes. There's not really multifamily. But I guess if you were targeting, in Atlanta and you only wanted to target multifamily or single family, you could filter that way. But a cool part down here where these slides are, so they're all set to include everyone right now. But if I wanted to narrow it down, like maybe I don't want any brand new construction, so we'll go back a few years here. And then these two are cool. So year last sold, you might not want to waste money targeting someone who just bought their house like this year.
Exactly.
Although it never hurts to get in front of people, but they probably have a real estate agent that is keeping in touch with them. So you might want to go back a couple years there. Or, if you're trying to find listings of people that, bought their home a long time ago, you could go filter out to like who's been there for 20 years.
Wow,
Build up
that's
equity.
nice. Yes.
Or you could change it to price. If you're only trying to find homes that, sold in the past 10 years for over $1 million, you're trying to get some luxury. You could, it's that criteria.
Well, we never know.
All right, so that's the criteria on the left side. So that's just a quick way to kind of narrow down who you do and don't want to target. And then you have all the map options. So if I scroll back up here, there's some tools at the top, or basically one tool. So when you put in that address to begin with, it's basically saying where are the 50, 100 closest homes to that. So like on this side of the home, there's a lot of businesses, so it's not going to target those. So you'll see it went to the left. Typically, if you choose a home that's like right in the middle of a neighborhood, it's going to just form a big circle. But this Polygon targeting tool at the top right is a cool way to really define which neighborhoods you want to target. So let's say I want to outline this Grovehurst subdivision. There we go. Let me get this little box away. There we go. So we click the Polygon tool, and then we're just going to start anywhere. And basically you just drag your mouse and then click to create a new point. So maybe I want to get all over here. See if it lets me drag. Oh, there we go. So let's say I want all of this neighborhood too, this Coit Drive. And then maybe I want to go over here and get this little Michael Way too. And we'll get that neighborhood. So it kind of gives you an option to, really target which neighborhoods you want. And then you'll see there's a few homes that are left off because they're not in our limit, it looks like. Or maybe they probably sold in the past 2 years, is my guess. So if we change that up, maybe they'll get included. Nope. All right, so let's try increasing this a bit.
Thank you, Kevin. Sorry, gotta go.
Kevin, you're gonna put this on Quantrain, right?
Yes,
Thank you.
All right, so right here we have all of the homes that are in our little area. And then like I showed earlier, you can hover over these and remove them if you want. So like, let's say that for a fact that like a real estate agent lives in this house right here. You're like, I don't need to send her my postcard. So you can remove that. Or if you like met one of the neighbors and was like, oh, he's really rude, I don't want him to get mad at me for sending him mail, you can remove that person too. So once you do that, so you have all your homes set up, you have the postcard set up. The last option here is if you want to send a copy to the company address, which is always a good idea. That way you can get an idea of how they look. So that's going to go to our office and they're going to throw it in your mailbox. And then it shows you the total down there. So 8024, and it looks like I'm sending to 135 homes. And then basically from there, you just go to next. And this is where you put in your payment information. Like I was saying earlier, at the very end, this is where it gives you the final preview, which it looks like you have to scroll up for. It kind of defaults to the bottom. So just make sure you scroll up on this page and it'll show you this final preview of your postcard. You click there for the larger one. So, make sure your words aren't cut off. Everything's in the middle there. And then you might want to test out that QR code one more time just to make sure it goes to the right spot. Make sure you didn't misspell your phone number, your email, or your name. And then from there, it's pretty straightforward. You just put in your email and your card info and it sends off. You'll see here on the left side, if you submit your order before 3 p.m., your mailers will go to production that same day. So like I said earlier, make sure everything looks good, because as soon as you hit submit, it's like immediately they start printing it. It goes like right to the print shop, and I don't even know if there's people that like review it. I think it just goes right to the printer. So it's really on you to quality control, check your stuff. And then it goes into USPS mail stream within 2 business days, and they're expected to arrive within 4 to 6 days. So, all in all, like I said, maybe 5 to 7 days. And that's pretty much it. Last thing I'll show you is these couple templates here, and then I'll take any questions you guys have. Save, yes. I will say one kind of flaw in the system is once you go past that page where you upload your design and like type in the office information, once you go to that next page for targeting and go to submit, and you like say you see the preview is wrong, you kind of have to start from scratch from what I've seen. It like doesn't let you go back and edit it very well. I think when you go back, it just brings you to the targeting page. I don't think you can go and re-upload a new design, but thankfully it's a pretty quick process. So if we go back to direct mail, I'll show you here what the default templates look like. See if they added any more. Last I checked, there was only 2 of them. Yeah, so looks like there's 4, depending what size you want to use. But yeah, basically each size only has 1 template. So, they look all right. It's something to do if you want, but like I said before, I think going into designs, you just have a lot more flexibility, because with these postcards, it's pretty much, it is what it is. You choose the listing for the picture, and it's pretty much it. The one cool part about this is they have a QR code generator built into the system. So if you turn that on, you can choose which landing page you want to send them to.
Nice.
And the benefit of that over creating your own QR code, which I've never done it this way, so I can't really speak for it, but when you're using their QR code and you go to this home page of direct mail, you'll see there's this section for leads. So I think the point of that is their QR code has a tracker built in where, the lead would show up there, which I don't know how it works. If you use that, if it like captures their information or what, I'll have to test that out on myself sometime. The cool part about this is there's no minimum for how many homes you target. So if you just want to like test one of these out and see how it looks for yourself, you can just type in your address and only target 1 home. So I've done that, like some of these first few, there was only like 1 recipient for, or 2 recipients. And then the next one I did, a bigger mail out to 800 people. I guess there's some more in here. But yeah, it's pretty cool that you can just target yourself if you just want to like see how it looks or test out the QR code or anything like that. What do you think?
I loved it.
Pretty cool?
Yes.
And we probably knocked that out. I know we didn't spend much time in designs, but the process itself maybe takes for, 20, 25 minutes. Gareth, I see your question. What are you finding for ROI? It's kind of hard to quantify because Patty's been in the business 17 years, and we send probably on average 1 postcard a month, maybe less in the past year. But you know, it's a numbers game for us. We have a big farm that we send out constantly, and I would say, you know, we probably get 2 to 3 listings a year from our constant postcards. But we're also, you know, making phone calls, sending out email campaigns. You know, it's a long process of gathering their information. But in terms of like, say that house that we had that was in a neighborhood of like 50 homes, you know, if the postcard's enticing enough, especially in this market where people are curious about their home value, I think there's a pretty good return on at least getting a phone call and having that conversation and adding that person to your database. So it's kind of hard to quantify exactly, you know, you spend $1,000 on postcards, how many, you know, closed deals are you going to get? But I would say, you know, the consistency is there, especially like I said, if you have a listing and you send out like 3 postcards over the span of a month, you know, it's quite likely that a few people are going to save your info just because they saw like, oh, wow, it went under contract quick. It sold for over list price. You know, when I'm ready to sell, that's probably the person to do because they do a lot of marketing. They don't know that you're only targeting their neighborhood. They might think you're sending postcards to all of East Cobb. Answer your question?
So, Kevin, this is just a little off topic. So in Command,
Yes.
is there a place to do business cards, or is that only Michael Lewis Marketing, or anybody else that you, I guess, want to use for business cards?
Yeah, let me pull it up real quick. I'm pretty sure they did add a print.
Because this just seems like a lot less, I guess.
Yeah, I know you can design them here. Personally, I just send my postcards.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let me see. I can't remember if they added in the like the ordering function in here. Like I know Canva has that where you create something and then they can print it for you. Let's see, business basic, business card. Oh wow, they've added some. There was only like a couple cards for the longest time. Let's just use a random one. And we shall see. Yeah, so they added this order print to the top.
Okay.
Now I can't.
So I could, you know.
Yeah, I can't speak to the. So they have different options for thickness. That's cool. So that might be something to test out.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Ooh, they even have different stocks too. So let's see. I don't know why it's Australian dollars. Oh,
That's so weird.
Where are we? That is very strange that we're not on here.
So what about us now?
So I guess choose whichever one is the cheapest.
If he goes to.
Just kidding. I don't know how that works. That's really interesting. I'll have to report that one. So
Cool.
maybe you can't do it yet, but almost.
Okay. I think Gary had another question for you. I think it's in the chat. Oh,
let's see. What are your favorite call to action prompts? Assuming you're talking about the postcards. Let's see what I did on these. One of our common ones is at the top corner. See if you guys can see this well. It's kind of a lot of verbiage, but in the top right corner on the back or the top left corner, it basically says like, are you thinking about taking advantage of, you know, this hot market we're in? Call us to ask about our custom marketing plan that includes, you know, 2 open houses the first weekend, postcards, Facebook ads. You know, we kind of give them a breakdown of what we do for listings, like the staging, the photography. In terms of kind of short and sweet ones, there's like the check us out on Google. I think that's a good one because, you know, if you just say like, check out our website, I don't think people are as likely. Whereas everyone knows what Google is and they know if they check you out on Google, there's going to be reviews. And when they pull up our reviews, you know, it's 5-star and people raving about us. So I definitely like that one a lot. This is kind of the classic one right here. Contact us for a free evaluation to see how much your home is worth. Yeah, and this is kind of a similar one there. Curious how much your home is worth. Scan to find out. Which I think that one just kind of sends them to our website. I didn't send this one out to people, but you could, you know, create like a questionnaire form, like a Google form or something, and scan it and set up a QR code to send them there, so they can go and like fill out their information, and then you call them right away and say, hey, like, you know, you submitted your info based on, you know, comps in your neighborhood. I would guess your home is around this range. So those are the ones I use the most. But, you know, there's millions of options out there. It's like Zillow sends me postcards all the time with call to action for like, you know, check out how much our cash offer for your home would be, which clearly works for them. Yeah. Any other questions, ideas, feedback?
I probably have more on, you know, when we have our happy hour meeting.
We have one this week, right?
I don't think, are we doing,
No.
is this in there? Cause I know what it, no.
Yeah, I think it's next week. I think this last week we had one.
Yeah, okay. So I'm gonna definitely be trying to play with some things.
Oh.
Some ideas, I'm sure I'll have questions.
Yeah. I mean, definitely test these postcards out, like even if it's just to send to yourself, because it costs like, you know, less than $1 and you can just see how it looks.
I love that. And I love that it will mail out directly.
Yeah.
My question was always this bulk mailing thing, like what are people doing for that? Are they physically going to the post office? Are they, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, we used to always print them out and bring them directly to the bulk mail office. And it's just so time consuming.
Yeah. I love this process.
Yeah.
Seems like less footwork.
I think it's costing.
Yeah. One last note. See if I can show you on these postcards. So the two options we had that we talked about are targeting your database, where you actually have someone's like name, address in your system, in your contacts. The other one was the local targeting. When you're targeting your database, you'll see the person's name is actually on there, and it's exactly how it was in your command. When you do the local targeting, it doesn't have their name. It says current resident.
Okay.
That said, I mean, no one really pays that close attention. It's more of like, ooh, a picture. And then half of them, they throw it away before they even get inside. You know, it's really, like I said, brand recognition. If you're lucky, someone will be like, oh, sure, I'll actually check this out or go to the website. But you have to keep in mind that, you know, what do you do with junk mail? Probably half the time you're just like trashing it right away.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, it's not a bill. See ya. It's not a handwritten note. Handwritten notes are good. So yeah, that said, not a big difference, but something to keep in mind. If you are targeting your database, it does have their actual name on there. So make sure their name is, you know, the way it's supposed to be. Good stuff.
Yes, good stuff. Thank you.
All righty. You guys test it out and let me know how it goes. Do some brainstorming.
Definitely. Thank you so much, Kevin.
Yeah.
I got a lead for a Lake Lanier Vista.
Thanks.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
That's good stuff.
Yep.
All righty, guys.
Peace out.
Good one.
Thanks, Kevin.